Table of contents.
1. The computer case or system unit. List of computer case sizes. 2. Motherboard. 3. Central processing unit. 4. Random access memory. 5. Graphics card or graphics processing unit. 6. Sound card. 7. Hard disk drive. 8. Solid state drive. And 9. Power supply unit. The computer case or system unit. This is the component that holds all of the parts to make up the computer system. It is usually designed in such a manner to make fitting a motherboard, wiring, and drives as easy as possible. Some are designed so well that it is easy to make everything look tidy and presentable. Cases come in all different sizes and shapes to accommodate various types of computer components and satisfy the consumer's needs. Design elements can vary from plain to highly elaborate. You can get a plain gray desktop case or one with colored lighting everywhere to make it look spectacular. Computer cases rely on computer fans inside them to create proper airflow to keep all the internals cool and working reliably. A computer case, like most things, varies in quality. You can get them made from cheap metals or good quality materials that provides you with a sturdy design. List of the computer sizes. A very small form factor supports mini ITX motherboards. The small form factor supports micro ATX motherboards. Standard form factor supports standard ATX motherboards. And the larger form factors supports ATX and XL ATX motherboards. Motherboard. The motherboard is the main board that it is screwed directly inside the computer case. All other cards and everything else plugs directly into the motherboard in its name. The CPU, RAM, drives, power supply, and more are connected. Its functions involves integrating all the physical components to communicate and operate together. A good motherboard offers a wide amount of connectivity options. It also has the least amount of bottlenecks possible. This allows all the components to operate efficiently and to fulfill their maximum potential as they were designed to do. Obviously, as the physical size is reduced, it begins to limit connectivity options and functionality. Motherboards come in the following sizes. Central Processing Unit. The CPU or Central Processing Unit is basically like the brain of computer systems. It processes all the information on a computational level. It takes all the process from the RAM and processes them to perform the task required by the computer system. The Central Processing Unit is usually seated in a socket that utilizes a lever or a latch with a hinge plate with a cutout in the center to secure the CPU onto the motherboard. It has many copper pots underneath it for the socket contacts to push up against them to make electrical contact. There are other ways CPUs can be attached to the motherboard. Here are some common examples. ZIF or Zero Insertion Ports. Although this is a more desirable socket, they are mostly found on older computer motherboards, a lever-operated mechanism to clamp the pins of the processor. PGA or Pin Grid Array. It is also a ZIF socket but has a different pin pitch and contains a different pin count. LGA or Lag Grid Array. More commonly found on motherboards today, a levered hinge plate with a center cutout clamps down on the processor. BGA or Bold Grid Array. The CPU is soldered directly onto the motherboard. This makes it a non-user swappable component. It is susceptible to bad connectivity. A processor generates a decent amount of heat, especially when it is working under high loads. It will run even hotter when it is set to a higher clock speed to make it run faster. This is called overclocking. This is why a heatsink and a fan assembly are required to throw the heat away from the central processing unit and distribute it to thin sheets or fins of metal for the fan to cool down. There are so many different types of computer processors. The top manufacturers of processors are Intel, AMD, and NVIDIA.
Intel, AMD, NVIDIA.
Random Access Memory. RAM is a data storage device that can provide fast read and write access. RAM is a volatile memory, meaning it loses all the stored data when power is lost. The RAM keeps data ready for the CPU to process. The RAM speed is a big contributor to the overall speed of a computer system. It plugs directly into a long slot that has contacts on either side of the slot. It too has a clock speed just like a processor, so it can also be overclocked to deliver increased performance beyond the intended specification. Certain RAM modules are sold with a heat spreader. It helps dissipate the heat from the individual memory ICs, keeping them cooler. RAM has evolved like any other component. RAM used on the motherboard often uses DDR, SDRAM type memory. RAM amount always comes in powers of 2, so you will always see numbers like 16 GB, 32 GB, or 64 GB of RAM, to mention some examples of memory units. Graphics card or graphics processing unit. A graphics card is an output device that processes the data from the motherboard and sends the appropriate information to the computer screen for display. You can connect monitor to it using HDMI, DisplayPort, DVI, and VGA. It can also be referred to as a video or display card. A video card takes the burden of all the video processing from the main CPU. This gives a computer a big boosting performance. Because of the large processing requirements for a given GPU, fans are almost a given. A video card plugs into a PCI Express slot on the motherboard. It is a serial expansion bus slot capable of high bandwidth in 2 directions. A graphics card has a GPU, the main part of a computer system that requires cooling. A GPU is lower than a CPU, but it is designed to deal with mathematical operations required for video rendering. The card's memory amount varies depending on the manufacturer's design. Video cards use graphics double date rate SDRAM, which is especially designed to optimize graphics performance. GDOR is built to handle a higher bandwidth compared to plain DDR RAM. Sound card. Most of the time, the sound chip built in the motherboard is used for audio output. But if you are a sound enthusiast or prefer high-quality audio output while playing a game, you might be inclined to use a sound card. Sound cards plug into a computer in multiple ways. It can be through USB, PCI slot, or PCI Express by one slot. External DACs have gained much more popularity and help deliver clearer and more defined audio or high-definition sound output. They connect up using a 10 cable, like a USB cable, to your computer or laptop and provide a line out for your speakers or headphones. A sound processing chip on the card does all the audio processing and is usually not a very powerful processor. A sound card can offer a wide range of connectivity with various audio equipment. A few examples could be optical audio, a 1/4 inch jack, or RCA connectors. hard disk drive. A hard disk drive is still found in many PCs to this day. A mechanical drive's purpose is to store all your information for retrieval at any time. Apart from storing information for your computer, it also functions as a boot drive to run the operating system from it. You can install operating systems of many different kinds depending on your needs. One bump the wrong way can destroy a whole drive. A mechanical hard drive contains one or more plotters that spin anywhere between 5,200 to 10,000 RPM or revolution per minute. The read and write heads are spaced only about 0.002 inches from the plotter. This gives you an idea about the physical limitations or its fragile nature. Small areas in the plotter can be arranged to represent as 1, 0. It can be changed using the drive head to alter the material to represent the correct value magnetically. There are various categories of hard drives made for various real-world applications. Some examples include general use for desktops or laptops, gaming optimized for desktops or laptops, general high-capacity storage, NAS devices, servers, and video recording. They can also be purchased as an external drive that usually connects to your computer by USB cable. An uninterruptible power supply is sometimes used to prevent data loss with mechanical drives, where a sudden power outage is experienced, or the power cord is accidentally disconnected while the computer is running. This allows proper shutdowns for desktop systems that have experienced sudden power loss. Solid-state drive. An SSD is also a type of hard drive, but it doesn't have any moving bytes. It consists of a bank of flash memory that can hold a reasonable amount of information. While SSDs are increasing in size all the time, they aren't cost-effective for storing large amounts. A mechanical drive has a cheaper gigabyte-to-dollar ratio. However, the SSD is a higher performance drive. It's fast and it cannot be as easily damaged by dropping it or taking a few bumps. SSDs are available as 2.5-inch laptop encapsulated drives, and an M.2 SSD is the most commonly used kind on the market. Power supply unit. A power supply unit mounts inside the computer case. It converts the AC main supply from the power cord from a wall socket and supply the correct DC voltages to all the components inside the computer. A computer power supply supplies the following voltages. Positive 3.3 volts, this voltage is supplied to the motherboard. Positive 5 volts, this voltage is supplied to the motherboard and other computer hardware. Positive 12 volts, this voltage is supplied to the motherboard and other components. Negative 12 volts, this voltage is supplied to the motherboard. It plays an important role in keeping computer running reliably. You get different wattage ratings for power supplies. The higher the wattage, the higher the electrical current that can be made available to everything that needs it to function properly. The higher you go in watts, the more the power supply will likely cost. A power supply usually also comes with a cooling fan. This helps all the internal components in your computer to stay cool when the power supply is subjected to bigger loads. That covers all the components of a computer system. All of these play a vital function in a computer to make it work.